As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Play a full 60 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it simple.
Get pucks deep, putting the puck deep.
Put pucks in deep.
We got to keep it simple and just get pucks going forward.
Getting into the forecheck.
We got to keep playing aggressive.
Trying to take away their time and space.
We're focused on tonight. We just got to stick to our game.
It's our pleasure to welcome special guest Stephanie Markowski, who decided early this morning that she had enough time for us. And Steph, appreciate you coming on here on some pretty short notice, but we'll give you our hardest questions for the next 10 minutes or so. Jake, I'll let you start it off. And Steph playing out in Ottawa right now, just about ready to get going in the playoffs upcoming.
Yeah, Steph, and biggest news came out a couple days ago that you guys were chosen as the opponent for the first seed, the Montreal Victoire. Just wanted to get your thoughts on them picking you over the 4 seed Minnesota and what your guys' mentality is going into this first series.
Yeah, obviously we were all watching that, kind of excited who they were going to pick, but I mean, it didn't come as a real surprise. I mean, even just logistically, travel-wise, they're way closer to us than Minnesota. So that comes into effect. And then also just, I mean, every team in this league is so close that any team could win this series. So them picking us, I mean, it does give us a chip on our shoulder, and we kind of saw what happened last year. So hopefully we win and kind of show them. But yeah, we've gotten a lot of questions on that. But I mean, anyone could win. So yeah.
Jake and I had the honor of watching you from your early college days. What have been the biggest differences in the transition to this new league in the PWHL from your first experiences playing 5 years in college?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference would just be the depth of the teams. Every team that you're going up against every night, like, it's going to be a battle and it can go either way. And I think you saw that in the standings. Like, they switched so much in the last couple games because it was so close. And yeah, you just can't take a game off. You can't take a shift off, or the puck will end up in the back of your net. Whereas college, some games, not that they were easy, but they were a bit of a lighter opponent.
Yeah, and talking about the depth on these teams and going specifically to your first round matchup in Montreal, they've got some really talented players over there. I mean, first headline is Marie-Philippe Poulin, Captain Canada, and someone that I'm assuming you've watched growing up. And what on the blue line are you guys looking to do in that first round matchup against such a star power up front?
Yeah, like that's something that we've been talking about as a decor for sure. And when you have players like her or Stacy, and they have a lot of experience in these big moments, but I think for us, just getting in their head and every time we're around them, either giving them a bump or just anything to get them off their game, because they are big players and they can make big plays at big times. So yeah, just getting in their face, blocking shots, playing gritty, because that's what playoff hockey is all about. So
you and Marie-Philippe Poulin have no strangers so far to getting in each other's face. You got right up and got put in a nice headlock by her. We always talk to the guys that are in the NHL about like your welcome to the league moment. Obviously, she's somebody that you've been watching growing up in Canada since you probably started playing hockey. What have been some of the coolest moments in the PWHL so far for you?
yeah, I think there's been a lot of cool moments, but two that stick out to me would probably be my first ever game, and that was in Montreal. So playing against Pooh, playing against those type of names that I've looked up to since I was a kid, that was really cool. And I don't know if you guys have watched a game in Montreal, but their crowd is electric and like so loud. They have a DJ, so that atmosphere was really cool to play in for my first game. And then I think the other moment that was pretty cool this year was the Edmonton, just going back to where I'm from. And like I had, I think, over 50 family and friends there. And we were able to sell out Rogers. And like growing up, I would watch the Oilers all the time. And I would like obviously really looked up to them, but I knew like that wouldn't be the path that I could take as a girl. So seeing them play there and then seeing all these girls play there and sell it out. That was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, and a lot of firsts and a lot of record-breaking attendances for the PWHL this year. And I know I kind of wanted to touch on this as well as the other big announcement for the PWHL is the two expansion franchises coming in Vancouver and Seattle. What's been the talk around the locker room in terms of the new expansion teams and also maybe possible expansion draft, people switching teams? Has there been any like discourse about that?
Yeah, like for sure leading up to it, there was a lot of chatter around the league and rumors and stuff. So when they announced it, obviously we weren't surprised because we kind of heard some stuff before, but I think it's great for the league to expand. And even when we do, that's why we do the takeover tours to kind of get a feel of like what markets would be good to expand to. And Vancouver and Seattle did awesome. So I think they'll do really good. And expanding out west is important too, right? Just to get a larger audience. And I think it's cool and it adds some different aspects to the game, like the expansion draft. That'll be really interesting, just the way it works. We don't really know exactly how it's going to work, like protecting players and who can get what, and also the draft with the new players. So that'll be really interesting, even for the fans to see how it shakes out. And I think it's also interesting for us and the fans just to see how the league decides to do it because I think they try to be a bit different than the NHL just with some rules and stuff. So it'll be interesting for sure.
You mentioned how cool it was going home on the takeover tour. Your roommates with Danielle Serdachny, who in college was a bitter rival, one of your childhood best friends. How cool was it seeing both of your guys' names plastered all over signs during warm-ups skating around there?
Yeah, that was super cool. I mean, both of us grew up there. We were both born there. We live 5 minutes from each other, and our families are best friends, and we're best friends. So to experience that with her, who's like one of the only Edmonton girls, I think we're the only Edmonton girls in the PWHL right now. That was really cool. Just to share that moment with her and our families to share that with each other.
Yeah, and you two have both played on some of the biggest stages in college hockey. I mean, you, a former national champion with the Ohio State Buckeyes, and Danielle, not a stranger to the Frozen Four and with Colgate. So, what do you think, especially with the two of you having that kind of college playoff experience, what do you think that's going to mean upcoming for the PWHL playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt. Like going to that national championship game in the Frozen Four, you kind of learn what it takes to get the job done in those high pressure games. But honestly, I've never been a part of really a 5 game series against just one team. Like that'll be a first for me. And I mean, Ottawa didn't make the playoffs last year, so that'll be a first for a lot of us. But we do have some players on the team who are in different markets last year who have that playoff experience. So we've been talking to them and kind of asking them questions, and the coaches have been getting feedback from even them to just what it's like and how to kind of ride through that series. So we're super excited and can't wait to get started.
You touched on the atmosphere that first game in Montreal, but Ottawa has been no disappointment. Talk a little bit about the fan base there, what you expect them to bring to the playoff atmosphere.
Oh yeah, we have, I think, the best fans in the league. They're so passionate. Like every game they come with their signs, and half the time I'm looking at the Jumbotron to seeing what type of signs they bring. But no, they're awesome. And I know when we were fighting for a playoff spot in Toronto, they even had watch parties here supporting us, and we definitely feel the love from them. So we just want to like give it back and do well for them.
Yeah, and you guys again on the road to start in Montreal, and then you guys get at least one playoff game in Ottawa on the 13th of May. So looking forward to see you guys do that and see what the fans are into. And I was just wondering, what do you think in terms of your next moves as a team? Like what is something that you guys are focusing on this series? I know we touched on the D line, but like as a full team, what are you guys focusing on?
Yeah, there's a few things. I think one of them is just quick transitions. Often against Montreal, they can be aggressive. So if we can beat their forecheck and beat them up ice, and then another thing that's, I mean, everyone says it, but it's true in playoffs, just getting to that net and always having someone net front and someone backdoor to get those greasy rebounds. Because they have good goaltending, obviously, and lots of experience back there in net. So we need to, yeah, take away our eyes and D get pucks through, and then forwards be there to pound them in.
You're an upcoming free agent this summer here. How much emphasis is put towards your goals on this playoff here to, make a push towards that next contract looking forward? And what are some of your goals looking towards next year and in years upcoming?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's huge. Like, I think this year has been a good rookie year for me as a D coming in. But yeah, I mean, playoffs is what it's all about. So showing what I can do and impacting the team the best I can do, is definitely what I want to show, my GM and, hopefully, yeah, get a contract next year. I mean, I don't know how the rules work now with expansion, but when you're drafted, they have your rights for 2 years. So, I don't have a contract for next year, but I think they might have my rights for next year. But I mean, time will tell how the rules kind of shake up.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear about like the new rules that the PWHL has been implementing. And in terms of that, throughout the whole season, which one of the newer rules that you've been exposed to have been one of the like most interesting and most fun to deal with?
There's a few, but I like the jailbreak rule. I know a lot of people like that because it's fun when you're on the PK, you're just trying to get that goal. And then when you do get that goal, I mean, the fans go crazy. I was in the box for one, and we scored shorthanded, and then, I broke free and
Surprise
got
there,
out.
hey?
So, yeah, that was pretty cool because it's just like not only did you kill the penalty, but now you're out of there and your team's up. So I like that rule.
Last year you went to Ohio State, won the national championship, and the new league was kind of coming into formation. A couple of your teammates at Clarkson, Gab David, one of them that made the decision to go straight to the league. How much excitement was there as you watched the success that the league had, knowing that you were going into the draft this past year? And what do you think that the success that the league has continued to have, the expansion upcoming, is going to have on the impact overall for women's hockey when you think about the development of the NCAA, the expansion of the NCAA as well, but also girls thinking about maybe coming over from Europe rather than staying over there to play, and how strong the PWHL could become as the next showcase for women's hockey?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in college, that's definitely what I was set for, the draft, and seeing that first year was really cool and like all the traction it got. But I mean, that was years in the making. Like, honestly, I got to give credit to all the girls who were on those Olympic teams and playing in different leagues all the time and folding because they kind of stuck it out and they're the reason that we have this league today. So, first off, for them, big thanks. And then I think for the future, I mean, when we do those takeover tours or even here in our markets, you can see the involvement of the fans and all the little girls or even little boys who are so into it. So it's definitely growing at a good pace. And with expansion, that'll help even more. And just like when I was younger, I didn't really have any girls to watch. I would watch the NHL and then the Olympics, but that's, I mean, once every 4 years and just for a small amount of time. So to have like representation for those young girls now, I think it'll show them and that they can one day be a professional athlete. And then maybe if they're not into hockey and they see it, because it's on TV and broadcasted everywhere, that maybe they'll join. So I think it is just going to keep growing.
Yeah, and growing the game has been the PWHL's, I think, first and foremost goal. And in my eyes, and I think in Casey's eyes too, it's definitely accomplished that. So we've seen a lot of different hockey fans do that. And I think you as a hockey fan as well, and knowing that the players are hockey fans as well is a really cool aspect. So thanks for touching on that. And I did want to give you a question as you as a fan, not you as a player. What are you looking forward to for your hometown Oilers against the Knights in this second round here?
I'm hoping for a win. Oh my gosh. I'm really hoping they keep going so I can come back to Edmonton and go to a game or go to those watch parties. But yeah, it's super exciting and I hope they keep rolling. I mean, they came back last series, which I was very nervous about, but they pulled through. So I think they're hot and they're gonna keep going.
Steph's going to be channeling her inner McDavid in the upcoming round here. Steph, Jake, and I were there for your first career college goal. Hopefully, we'll be tuned in for another one, first career playoff goal in the pros upcoming. Big thanks for joining us for a couple minutes here, and again, especially on such short notice. Steph got a text this morning and said, "Hell yeah, I'm in." But always a pleasure to catch up. It's been a lot of fun seeing your progress and seeing the league's progress.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys.